It is January 1st, 2026. How you feeling today?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Lift off and the clock has started.
Good day to each and every one of you bright shining souls wherever you are, and welcome to balanceFIT Radio, where we have conversations on strength, meaning, and the human experience. I'm your host, Scott Schroeder. This is a little slice of the communication landscape where fitness meets psychology, philosophy, and real life, because true wellness is about more than just the body, is it not? Let's drop the pretense, talk honestly, and explore what it really means to live in balance. I wanted to drop into you and talk to you today to just very briefly on the traditional beginning of the Helios cycle, the day that we all typically promise to do better in one way or another, sometimes in many ways. How you feeling today? Did you treat yourself okay last night? Did you go a little deep into the New Year's bacchanalia? I'm feeling okay myself. I'm a little past the curve on getting too deep into revelry like that. And actually, we were up a little bit late for us last night. I think we turned the lights off and shut her down at about 10:30, which was pretty late for us. Anyway, wanted to drop in, like I said, and kind of reintroduce myself to some of you who've been along with me for over the years. Gosh, 7, 8, 9 years. I've been doing various podcasts, and we're on a new mission right now. And that mission is called balanceFIT. Now, my vision with balanceFIT is to generate a growing culture of capability. That's a big thing for me, capability through achievable levels of wellness and fitness, because I want to see more people equipped to execute their responsibilities and experience the full spectrum of life by being more able to do the things that bring them authentic joy. That's two things you need to get done in life, y'all. You need to execute your responsibilities. You got things to do. You need to be well enough, capable enough, and fit enough to execute those responsibilities. And two, life should be enjoyed, not endured, as they say. And I'd like for you to be well enough to engage in the things that bring you authentic joy. I've spent my entire life writing this wellness sine wave. And as I've stumbled through the various stages of life and my own failures and successes, I've arrived at the commitment to dedicate whatever time I have left remaining in this life to the service of human wellness through balanceFIT, with my experience, education, and certifications in personal training, nutrition, performance enhancement, and corrective exercise. As our lifestyles have changed over the past couple of decades, and it's been a big change, the need to add movement to our lives and be more mindful about what we put into our bodies has become more important than ever in human history. We can't look back on old paradigms and compare ourselves now to what we were then, whether it's how much we moved or what we put into our bodies. We tend to do that to ourselves depending on which way we want it to go. If we want to indulge in a lot of gravy and sausage, particularly if you're from the South, like me, then you're going to justify what it is that you put into your body by saying, well, Grandpappy ate this and he lived to 93 and smoked cigarettes and did all the things. Well, that's great, but he probably didn't spend 14 hours a day folded up sitting in front of a screen. So let's not use those old paradigms to give ourselves excuses or reasons, excuses to do what we're doing or reasons to not do what we should be doing. To be more mindful. The mission is to be more mindful about what it is that we're doing here. We've all watched the people we love and care about become less healthy, less well, to the point of crisis. But it isn't just our physical selves. A healthy body means absolutely nothing without the mutually supporting health of the mind and the spirit. Now, the truth is that none of the three essential parts of you, and those are the three essential parts of you, those are the three things that make you uniquely you, your body, your mind, and your spirit. And none of them can function at their potential without the others being fortified as well. So we'll get into more than just physical fitness here, right? Not just another podcast or a show about lifting weights or getting fit, getting ripped, jack and steel. No, we're going to get a little bit deeper into that. And we're going to do it in a conversational manner, and I hope you enjoy it. I want to explore the totality of wellness, and I want to do so in a conversational manner. I'm an old guy. I grew up in the golden age of radio. That's why we had bumper music. And that's why I'm calling this balanceFIT Radio, because I want it to follow that model where this is more conversational than it is instructional. There's going to be a lot of learning on both sides here. I'm going to have guest hosts. I'm going to have guests in here. But like I said, I wanted to drop in real quick here on this first day of the year to kick things off and kind of let you know what we're doing. It is January 1st, and we tend to use this day to twist ourselves into difficult knots by making a lot of lofty promises to our future selves this time each year. And that sparked something last night when we were sitting around. I asked my wife last night to tell me, in her words, why we celebrate New Year's Eve / New Year's Day, which prompted a conversation and an exploration of human psychology and a little bit of history. Because why do we celebrate this day? Some things in this life you find out, like when you're younger, typically if you see a thing, you do a thing, that's a thing, and there it is. That's what you do. You don't really spend a lot of time thinking about why. Where did it come from? It just is. And as you get a little bit older, you get a little bit more introspective, and you have a little bit more time to kind of slow down and take stock. You tend to dig into things, or is that just me? And her response was exactly what you would think a thoughtful person to say, and that is that it is a time for renewal, for new beginnings, and the chance to give yourself a reset, to look for brighter days, to reflect on what happened to you over the past 365 days, and proceed into a new cycle with new goals and perhaps a newer or better version of yourself. And that's admirable, and that's noble. And I think that's certainly authentically what she does. But I'm not sure that's what everyone does. Now, past the weird need to make 9 straight hours of various sized explosions and put various poisons into your body, which in that way, it kind of resembles Mardi Gras, doesn't it? Which is a whole other thing. But now Mardi Gras and other things like that, there's a purpose to it. Goes along with the church calendar. Mardi Gras proceeds into Lent, I believe, which is when you sacrifice. And so before that, you indulge as you prepare for the sacrifice. But why in the world, what is this thing that we do on January 31st / 1st every year? So I had to look it up, had to do some history. It's like, why do we celebrate New Year's Day / New Year's Eve, whatever you want to call it, whichever one the celebration. New Year's Day, I guess, is typically reserved for recovering from New Year's Eve, so there's probably not a lot of celebration. But, of course, it goes back to the Romans, like just about everything else does, when it comes to how we organize our time, and Julius Caesar, as it would. Now, the roots of it probably go back farther than that. Most everything that we experience is so old we don't know where it came from. But of course, Julius Caesar, there was the heliocycle, the year, if you want to call it, was 10 months, and it was a mess. And of course, nobody, 2, 3, 4,000 years ago they kept track of what they needed to do for the crops and for, work and different things, keeping track of the seasons and, because that's how you had to live. However, it was a bit of a mess and there wasn't really too much organization. So in comes Julius Caesar and the Roman traditions and the Roman gods. And we added 2 months to give us 12 to sync up with the season cycle. And January is named after the god Janus, who has 2 faces, one looking backward, one looking forward. And Janus, I believe, is the god of doorways, transitions, new beginnings. I think that's what it is, which makes sense. And there were other things that coincided with that, like the beginning of the new Roman governmental year. That's when the new administrators took office and started their new cycle. But anyway, so that's where that came from. But it was still a bit of a mess. For about 1600 years after that. That was like what, 3543 BCE, something like that. And then along comes, which pope was that? Pope Gregory, obviously the Gregorian calendar. And in, what was that, 1582? It was quite a while. They kind of tweaked some things around and made a little bit more sense of what Julius Caesar did, and thus giving us the calendar that we have. So that's the history of it. And the whys. The why do we do this? What the heck is going on? And what do we do with ourselves when we do this? It's a lot of, as I said, making promises to future you that maybe you have good intentions that you're going to keep these promises. Maybe you're just paying lip service. It's hard to say. And that's for you to figure out for yourself. But regardless of how you treat January 1st or the new year, try your best to find a higher purpose, find a higher calling. Don't find yourself on December 31st, 2026, 364 days from now, unless this is a leap year, I don't know, don't find yourself recycling old resolutions. Have some resolve. Resolve is much greater than resolutions. So I'll end it with this. I'll leave you with this thought. Stop marking your life by arbitrary calendar events. Mark it by accomplishments. Learn something new. Throw a ball with a kid. Raise money for charity. Serve something outside yourself. No one's dying declaration has ever been, oh, goodness, I wish I had done less with my life. Nobody's ever laid in their deathbed and said, God dang, I wish I'd eaten more gravy. I wish I'd smoked more cigarettes. I wished I'd sat on my ass more and watched more TV and played more video games. No one's ever said that at the end of their lives. So take this time to realize that time is limited. The universe is eternal. Probably. One fashion or another. You are definitely not. Take care of yourself and go do things that lead to fulfillment before you run out of January 1st. So go. Move your body, feed your mind, and enrich your spirit. All right. Well, thanks for spending time with me today on balanceFIT Radio. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it. And you can find more training resources at balancefitsc.com. And until next time, keep moving, keep thinking, keep exploring, and remember, your life, your potential. Peace out, homies, and I'll see you next time.